When life gets busy, the last thing you want is a plant giving you attitude because you missed a watering day, and that's exactly why low-maintenance houseplants are such a game-changer. These plants are built tough, they store water, handle dry spells, and keep looking good even when you forget about them for a week or two. Most of them come from naturally harsh, dry environments, so they've learned how to survive with almost nothing. You don't need a strict routine, special gadgets, or some long plant care checklist. Just set them in a bright spot and let them live the best life. It still amazes people how these plants stay green, full, and healthy with minimal effort. Whether you travel, work long hours, or just don't want high-maintenance plants, these guys won't stress you out. So let's get into the top 13 houseplants that stay happy and thriving without needing much water at all. Monstera is one of those plants that looks like it should be high maintenance, but it's actually super easygoing and surprisingly drought tolerant. This plant stores moisture in its thick stems and large leaves, so even if you forget to water it for a couple of weeks, it barely reacts. Most Monsteras only need watering every 10 to 14 days, sometimes even longer in cooler months. It naturally grows in tropical environments where the soil dries between rainfalls, so it's used to waiting for water, and that makes it perfect for busy people or anyone who tends to underwater their plants. Plus, it can handle medium to bright light without demanding anything fancy, and it keeps producing those iconic split leaves as long as it gets basic care. What's even better is that studies show large leaf plants like Monstera can boost indoor humidity by up to 5%, helping your room feel fresher without needing constant watering. Philodendron is one of the easiest plants to keep alive because it's built to tolerate long dry spells, thanks to its thick, waxy leaves that hold onto moisture longer than most houseplants. Most varieties only need watering every 10 to 12 days, and many people even stretch it to 2 weeks without seeing any stress at all. In the wild, philodendrons grow under tree canopies where the soil dries slowly, so they've adapted to thrive with minimal water and lower light conditions, which makes them perfect for apartments or offices. They're also great at purifying indoor air, removing toxins like formaldehyde while barely asking for anything in return. And as long as you keep them in well-draining soil and avoid overwatering, which is the only real way to hurt them, they'll grow consistently and look lush even if you're the forgetful type. Air plants are basically the definition of low maintenance because they don't even need soil, which already eliminates half the work most houseplants require. These little guys absorb moisture and nutrients straight through their leaves, so a quick misting every few days or a short soak every 10 to 14 days is more than enough to keep them happy. Since they naturally grow attached to trees and rocks in warm, airy climates, they're used to going long stretches without water and bounce back fast even if you forget. They also thrive in bright, indirect light and don't mind being moved around, making them perfect for shelves, terrariums, or hanging displays. What's cool is that air plants can handle humidity dips better than most tropical plants, and research shows they can improve air freshness by trapping dust on the textured leaves, all while demanding almost nothing from you. Aloe is one of those plants that practically thrives on neglect because its thick, gel-filled leaves are designed to store water for long periods, letting it go 2 to 3 weeks between waterings without any issues. In its natural desert habitat, aloe grows in sandy, fast-draining soil where rain is rare, so it's adapted to survive long dry spells and actually prefers being underwatered rather than overwatered. Give it bright light and a pot with drainage, and it'll keep putting out new growth while staying firm and healthy with almost no effort from you. What makes it even better is that aloe is known for improving indoor air by removing pollutants like benzene, and if you ever break a leaf, the gel inside has soothing properties that have been used for centuries, all from a plant that barely needs a drink. String of pearls is one of the best low-water plants you can own because each little bead-shaped leaf is actually a tiny water reservoir, letting the plant go 2 to 3 weeks without needing a drink. It's a true desert succulent, so it's built for long dry periods and fast drainage, and it actually grows better when the soil is allowed to dry out completely between waterings. As long as it gets bright, indirect light, like a sunny windowsill or a high shelf, it keeps producing long trailing strands that can reach 2 to 3 feet over time with almost zero effort. What makes it even cooler is that studies on succulents show they lose significantly less moisture through evaporation compared to leafy tropical plants, which is exactly why string of pearls stays plump and healthy even if you forget about it for a while. This plant basically rewards you for leaving it alone. Snake plant is honestly one of the toughest, most drought-tolerant houseplants you can bring home, thanks to its thick, upright leaves that hold water so well it can go 3 to even 4 weeks without needing a drink. In West Africa, where it grows naturally, rainfall is inconsistent, so the plant adapted by storing moisture and slowing its growth to survive long dry spells, making it perfect for anyone who forgets to water or travels a lot. It handles low to bright light, poor soil, dry air, and even the occasional cold draft without complaining, which is why NASA's air quality study ranked it among the top plants for filtering toxins like benzene and formaldehyde. Once you set it in a pot with good drainage and resist the urge to overwater, the snake plant practically takes care of itself while still giving your space a clean, modern look. Haworthia is one of the easiest drought-tolerant plants you can keep because its thick, patterned leaves store a surprising amount of water, letting it go 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes even a full month, without needing more. It's naturally found in South Africa's dry, rocky regions, so it's used to harsh sun, fast-draining soil, and long stretches with no rain, which is why it thrives when you let its potting mix dry out completely. It stays compact, usually under 6 inches tall, making it perfect for desks, shelves, and small apartments where you want something low maintenance but still interesting to look at. What's pretty cool is that Haworthias lose water at a slower rate than most succulents because of the tight rosette shape, so they stay plump and healthy even if you forget about them for a while, making them one of the most foolproof low-water plants you can own. Philodendron is a surprisingly low-maintenance option for such a big, tropical-looking plant, and it handles long dry spells way better than most people expect. Its thick stems and large, deeply lobed leaves store moisture efficiently, letting it go 10 to 14 days between waterings without any stress, and sometimes even longer in cooler months. In its natural habitat, it grows under larger trees where the soil dries slowly, so it's adapted to inconsistent moisture and doesn't demand constant attention. It thrives in medium to bright light and only needs well-draining soil to keep its roots healthy, making it perfect for people who forget to water or travel often. What's even better is that larger philodendrons like this one can produce noticeable humidity boosts indoors, helping your space feel fresher while barely asking for water in return. Areca palms might look like they need constant attention because of their soft, feathery leaves, but they're actually pretty drought-tolerant once established and don't need nearly as much water as people think. Their thick, clustered canes store moisture, letting the plant comfortably go 10 to 12 days without watering, especially indoors where evaporation is slower. In their native Madagascar habitat, they grow in areas where the soil dries between rain cycles, so they've adapted to handle inconsistent moisture without losing their bright green color. As long as you give them bright, indirect light and well-draining soil, they stay full and bushy without demanding daily care. And what's cool is that studies show Areca palms release significant moisture back into the air, naturally boosting indoor humidity while still remaining one of the lower water palms for home spaces, perfect if you want something lush that doesn't need constant babysitting. Parlor Palm is one of the most reliable low-water plants you can keep indoors because it naturally grows in shaded forest floors where the soil dries slowly, so it's adapted to handle long gaps between waterings. Most parlor palms only need a drink every 10 to 14 days, and many stay perfectly healthy even if you stretch it a bit longer, as their slender stems and dense foliage hold moisture surprisingly well. They're also extremely forgiving with light, thriving in low to medium brightness without losing their soft, tropical look, which makes them ideal for apartments and offices. As long as you keep them in loose, well-draining soil and avoid heavy, frequent watering, which is actually the main way people harm them, they stay green, compact, and steady growing with almost no effort. What makes them even better is that parlor palms are known to lower household airborne dust by nearly 20% in some studies, giving you cleaner air from a plant that barely needs a drink. Echeveria Black Prince is one of the toughest low-water succulents you can own, thanks to its thick, dark rosette leaves that store a huge amount of moisture, letting it go 2 to even 3 weeks without a single drop. In its native dry habitats, this plant survives long periods of drought by slowing its growth and pulling water from its leaves, which is exactly why it stays firm and healthy even when you forget to water it. Indoors, it thrives in bright, indirect light and fast-draining soil, and it actually prefers being left alone. Overwatering is the only real way to hurt it. The deep purple-black color becomes more intense in sunlight, giving your shelf or desk a dramatic look without any high-maintenance care. What's cool is that Echeverias like this one have been shown to lose significantly less moisture than leafy houseplants, making them perfect for busy people who want something beautiful that genuinely doesn't need much water at all. Jade Plant is one of the most dependable low-water houseplants because its thick, fleshy leaves act like natural water tanks, letting it go 2 to 3 weeks without a drink and still look perfectly healthy. In its native South African environment, it grows in rocky, dry areas where rain is unpredictable, so it's adapted to long droughts and thrives when the soil dries out completely between waterings. Indoors, it stays compact, slow-growing, and incredibly resilient as long as you give it bright light and a pot with good drainage. What makes it even better is that mature jade plants can live for decades with minimal care, and studies show succulents like this lose far less moisture through their leaves compared to tropical plants, so even if you forget about it for a while, it keeps right on thriving. Lucky bamboo is one of the easiest plants to manage because it doesn't rely on traditional soil and can survive on very little water, making it perfect for anyone who forgets to water or just wants something simple. It grows naturally in shady, moist forest floors in Southeast Asia, so indoors it only needs a small amount of filtered or distilled water, usually just an inch or two in the container, to stay healthy for weeks. Its thick, cane-like stems store moisture efficiently, which is why it stays green and strong even if the water level drops for a bit. It tolerates low to medium light, doesn't need fertilizer often, and is surprisingly tough for such a delicate-looking plant. What's interesting is that lucky bamboo has been shown to improve humidity and help reduce indoor pollutants while asking for almost nothing in return, which is why it's a favorite low-maintenance pick for desks, entryways, and small apartments. Thanks for hanging out with me and checking out these low-maintenance houseplants that barely need any water. It's kind of amazing how many plants actually thrive when you leave them alone, and if you're busy, traveling, or just don't want high-maintenance chores, these are the ones that make life easier. If you found a new favorite or picked up something useful, make sure to hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more simple plant tips. I've got plenty more lists and ideas coming your way, so stick around. Your next easy plant might be in the next video.